Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Aquarian Mind podcast. Today's podcast, episode number 238. I'm your host, Jamel Crothers. It's Mondays with Mello. You guys know what time it is. It's time to talk what's on my mind. Today, this is going to be a really good one. The spiritual journey of life. And there's so many avenues and roads we can go down when it comes to this. So, let's go for a ride today. And I want to ask you guys an important question. I need you guys to think about this. Are you exploring who you really are in the spiritual realm? And I ask this because we're always focused on how we're doing mentally, emotionally, physically. But where are you in life spiritually? And we don't explore that because of the way this world is structured, unfortunately. There are a lot of things that, we don't learn until we're grown adults. And it's obviously because of generational things being passed down, from one family member to the next, things of that nature. So your great grandparents will pass down things to your grandparents, who will pass down things to your parents, who will pass down things to you. And somewhere along the lines, we've got to change the same redundant things that are being taught to us that are not necessarily the right things. And we're not taking the time to turn off all of the noise pollution that's going on around us. And those things consist of your phone, your tablet, your computer, your television, the radio in your car, the iPods that you may or may not still have, the people around you, things of that nature. And it doesn't necessarily mean you have to go out and be in nature and things of that nature. And I said nature twice. I shouldn't have done that. But yeah, you get what I'm saying. And yes, it is good to go out into nature. And it is good to put your feet, in the ground and get the grounding from this planet, because everything is connected. If you really sit and explore it and take the time to really understand what this life is. And what's happened to us is we're inundated with our own selves, which is our individualistic mentalities. We're selfish in a lot of ways. We're all about ourselves. We care about money, which is a piece of paper. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to live your life well and be financially good. But what set amount is it that's going to make your life fully stable? It's funny because when I was younger, I used to say, $1 million would make me feel great. And now I'm like, I don't even know if I want $1 million at this point. I don't even think that's like a threshold at this point. I don't even know what set amount it is, but I know it's not $1 million. It's way less than that, to be brutally honest, and what kind of life I want to have. Sometimes we need to really turn off the bad music that we listen to and the gory and sick, demented stuff that we're watching on our television screens, and really take the time to understand who we are. And I think that as you get older, you will start to do that way more, depending on where you are in your life. I know for me, I tend to turn my TV off way earlier than I normally used to. I don't watch as much TV as I used to. I don't have as many apps like I used to. I used to have Hulu, Showtime, Apple, HBO, Amazon Prime, all that stuff, right? And then I got rid of 2, and now I'm down to 3. And I had Hulu Live for about a year and a half, and I was paying over $80 a month to have it and watch my live shows and, watch my sports and all that stuff. But now I'm in a whole different space. I don't care to watch sports as much anymore. I've come to understand what it really is. It's entertainment. When you look at what entertainment means, you will get a full understanding of it. Doesn't mean I don't watch sports. It just means I'm not, gung-ho on watching it all of the time. I'd rather be, behind this microphone making you think about life and where you are and where you're going with yourself. And I just don't care as much. It's funny because I, look at myself a lot of times and go, wow, like I've come a long way in life. And when you start to reflect and you turn off all of the noise pollution and it's just you within yourself in a dark room and it's just quiet at night before you go to bed, you start thinking a little bit and you go, yeah, I am different. And if you're different in a good way, then you're getting to where you need to be. And for those who don't know, I am empathic, so I do feel a lot of people's energies. So it means, like, if I'm around a large group of people, like, I will automatically start to feel tired. So I can't be in large crowds of people, like sporting events. I can't do it as much anymore. I can do it in spurts. Like, I can't be in baseball stadiums and basketball arenas. People don't realize, like, all of that noise and all of that affects you. Casinos, things of that nature. It's not my thing. And when you start to explore your spiritual realm, you are becoming one within yourself. And I need you to think to yourself right now, how often do you do it? Do you do it every day? Do you do it twice a week, 3 times a week, once every 2 weeks? Whatever it is, you take the time to yourself to really, just clear your mind and not be distracted by anything at all. No social media apps, none of it. Do you take a break from social media? Because you're being inundated with information, whether it's people's lives, whether it's companies advertising to you, whether it's random strangers sending you message requests on different apps. Are you really taking the time away from social media enough to really learn who you are? Because on social media, you're not really showing every aspect of you, are you? You're not. You're sharing a highlight reel of your life. That's it. Bits and pieces of it, not every moment. Are you at peace with yourself? Are you okay with being alone? I know a lot of people that aren't. Me, I am. Which is a scary thing at times. And, my mom worries about me a lot. But it's because she has a pretty good idea of who I am. I'm just naturally a loner. I have friends, but they don't know everything I think about. They don't know every aspect of me. Only God knows my whole story and what I struggle with and what I deal with and how I manage myself. But I need you guys to really get an understanding of what this life is and what it consists of. And do you ask questions about life? Do you question why everything is the way it is? And do you know your perception of reality versus, a lot of this life experience being fake? Because if you really start to get an understanding of what's going on around you, you won't really get too emotionally caught up. And I used to. I was guilty of it, but I don't do it as much anymore. I'm not depending on a politician to make my life better. I'm depending on me to make my life better. I'm not depending on other people to change my life. I am in control of that in a lot of ways. And certain things are going to happen along the way that are in your control and are not in your control. And that is, when you realize that you're spiritually good, and when you bring out the good energy and you're not focused on all the negative energy, things shift. I have friends that just don't have the right energy around them. And I know they're not spiritually, good within themselves. And they're constantly trying to distract themselves. I know, people that I've dated that are inundated with keeping themselves busy. I've, had interests in, women in my life that are just not spiritually good within themselves. It's a sad occurrence. And the only way we become spiritually in tune with ourselves is when we first start addressing our traumas and what we've dealt with in our lives. Second is getting the necessary professional help that we need. And third is applying those things and also learning about ourselves through others at times. So it is following the right people on social media who are going to motivate and inspire you in some ways. And it's going to allow you to push yourself to be the best version of yourself. Because we're all works in progress. As long as you're doing the work, you're going to get to where you need to be. And healing yourself is a lifetime journey. You don't just magically one day wake up and say, I'm completely healed. It doesn't happen that way. So start asking yourself the questions of who you are, who you want to be, and where you're going in life, and what are the important things to you in life. Because as I record this podcast, I'm starting to fully understand myself and who I am, and certain things I'm just not willing to sacrifice anymore for the sake of appeasing the world and appeasing others. And it may sound selfish on my end, but I feel at peace with myself knowing that I'm making the right decision. And I'm going to leave that, out in the open for you guys to think about what I just said. But with that said, that's my podcast for today. Take the time to think about who you are and become in tune with yourself spiritually. Once you get that good, then the mental, emotional, and physical will follow. So, have a good week, everyone. Be good, everyone, and go accomplish your goals.